Welcome to SoCal Surf with Dan Nappy. It is big out there today. It was even bigger yesterday and the day before. To give you an update, I haven't surfed much. It's been storm after storm come through here. Rain, wind, which is good to make surf, but not when it's right on top of you. And the waves have been huge lately, and that's because of the storms that have been rolling in. And we got a lot of rain. I mean, lots of rain. Houses being washed away, mudslides coming down and wiping out streets and bridges, and a lot of rescues going on. Big Bear's got a ton of snow. So it's been quite eventful in the weather pattern. Not a lot of surf. It was either flat or, like it is now, huge. And so couldn't surf yesterday. It was 10, 15, occasionally a 20-foot face would come in and break out, out by Ruby's, and occasionally out past Ruby's a wave would break, and that was yesterday morning early. It was breaking out past Ruby's, so it has to be really big and strong to do that. Usually it's way inside, breaking, between the, I don't know what you call them, or little things that come off of the pier where the bait shop and the bathroom is, and then where the lifeguard stand is, and then across from the lifeguard stand there's another little pad there that sticks out from the pier, and usually it's breaking between that pad and the second one, but the last few days it's been breaking out past the second one and out to Ruby's. So huge surf, and not just big, tall surf. It would break hollow and powerful, and you can just hear it. In fact, I put a video on YouTube yesterday, and I just called it to Huntington Beach Pier, and I put the date, which yesterday was 1/22, I think it was, 1/22/17, if you want to look that up and take a look at some of those waves. 24th, I'm sorry, it's 1/24/17, if you want to look that up and see. And those weren't even the biggest sets. Those were just, some average sets that came in yesterday. And so with the weather improving, I thought today might be really good. And so I checked it early this morning, and it was still pretty big, but there were lows in the action, whereas opposed to yesterday, there was wave after wave after wave after wave, and there was nobody out, because it's just really hard to get outside when you can duck dive paddle a couple, and you're not really making any progress because each wave will push you a little bit further in, so you're pretty much staying in the same spot, and it's exhausting. So nobody was out yesterday at Huntington. I did see some people out at Newport, so I thought today might work, and I was correct. Got up this morning, it was breaking on the south side pretty good, but then some big sets would come in, and I didn't have anybody to surf with today, so I was going alone. So I checked Newport, and Newport was pretty big. For Newport, it was probably the same size as some of the smaller sets at Huntington. So I thought, well, I'll go to Newport then. And so that's what I did. And I went and parked and walked out. And as I came out, I was in between the jetty and the pier from the parking and the side streets. And then I looked out, and the waves were really big and strong. So I walked south a little bit and tried to find a break to get out. And I saw a little break. So I started paddling out, and that was about the lifeguard stand 24. And as I was paddling out, I was duck dive paddling. I thought, where's the break? I kept doing that, and finally a little break came, so I paddled a little bit harder. And then out of nowhere, another set came. I shouldn't say out of nowhere, they were everywhere. And another big set came, and I got pounded by two really big waves. And I was on my 7-footer, which meant I couldn't get very deep, so I had to take a little bit of a beating to get out. So finally I got out, and I was exhausted. My heart was pounding. I couldn't breathe. So I went way outside and just to catch my breath. And so I sat there for a while, and some big sets coming in. I was thinking, this is too big for me. I shouldn't be out here. But I stayed. I figured, let's give it a little bit, after I'm not so tired, perhaps I'll see things differently, which I did. And it started to get more comfortable for me. And I was sitting out there, and somebody I knew had paddled up and started talking. He was saying that he didn't paddle out there. He said, I went to the pier and paddled out on the other side of it, and then came across. There was no waves on near the pier. I said, oh, okay. So I paddled a little bit south, not far, and a wave came to me, so I took it and I rode it in. And then as I turned to look to paddle back out, there was just all white wave after wave. So I thought, I'm going to go down to the pier and see if that theory is true, which I did. So I paddled out at the pier, and he was right. There was basically no waves alongside the pier. So I paddled out on the north side. A couple little waves came through as I was coming out to the bigger sets, and then just paddled across about 100 yards north, and caught a couple of waves there, which were smaller than up by the jetty north of that. So the jetty was really, really big and powerful. And then as you move south towards the pier, it kind of went down like just from, maybe 8-foot faces to down to about 3 or 4 foot faces. And so I stayed in that area for a little while because I haven't surfed in, like weeks. And so I was kind of getting tired really easy. So I stayed there for a little bit, and then I started working my way back north to get some of the bigger waves. And every time I caught a bigger wave, I rode it all the way in. Then I would basically walk back to the pier. Sometimes the current was going a little faster towards the pier when you got inside, so I would just kind of walk and drift a little bit south and then paddle out alongside the pier, then come back north. So I did that about 4 times. When I got too far in, I'd just go in and walk back. But if I wasn't too far in, if I just caught a short wave, I would just paddle right back out, and it wasn't bad. So quite a difference between where the jetty was and to where the pier was. I mean, from almost no surf by the pier to big, strong surf by the jetty. And then at about, I'd say 9:30, it started to get really, really crowded. And there was really nowhere to catch waves. There was just people on every side of you, front and back, deeper, shallower. And so it was real hard to find a wave of your own. I caught one, and some guy came flying on my right. I had to get out of his way. And then got a couple of solo waves, pretty good. And then I figured it was time to move on. I just couldn't deal with all the people that were there. And the water was really, I don't know what the word is. It was dirty. You could see it was brown. And I'm not sure that was a good thing. And then there was a lot of debris in the water, like leaves and branches and plastic bags and mulch from someone's yard. I mean, the rain had been just washing everything into the ocean over the last couple of weeks. And there was just a lot of things floating around. And every time you got into a section where there's a lot of wood and mulch and tree branches, I just paddled north because the current was going south and just get out of it. But it's that's been a couple days, so it should start slowing down. But when I drove over the Santa Ana River, water is still coming out of that river like the Mississippi. I mean, compared to normal, where it just kind of drizzles on out, it was raging down that river still. And it's been 2 days since it's been raining hard. Didn't rain yesterday, didn't rain today, and so just really a lot of water still pushing into the ocean and dragging a lot of debris with it. So it's going to be a couple of days before that starts to get a little better. So we shall see. Tomorrow the surf looks big again, possibly too big at Huntington for anybody. And Newport maybe. We'll just have to wait and see. It's not sure what's going to happen. It looks like the charts show it coming in pretty big again. So if it gets too big and too dangerous, I just don't go. I just don't feel like, the risk isn't worth it. Because I'm not 18 years old anymore. I can't take that abuse. So anyway, good day at the beach. A lot of good waves, big, powerful waves. I stayed in the little medium wave section most of the day, so I was pretty easy for me. So I like the surfing Newport. It's easier than most places. But anyway, till tomorrow, we'll see if we can get this surfing thing back on a regular schedule. It seems to be raining every other day here, but we're getting to the end of January, start February. The time is going to start being in our favor, where we pick up a little bit of sunshine each day. And so hopefully it'll start warming up, because it has been really cold. And water's been cold, but not as cold. I've had colder water, so I can't complain about the water. But the air, when you're breathing, it comes out in steam, like you see in a winter picture of someone, like a football game. If look at the players and the hot steam out of their mouth. That's kind of what it was today, early morning, just steam come out of my mouth because I was breathing so hard. But as the sun came up, things got a lot better. So See you then. Check out our sponsors, nappyclothing.com, Merch Hero, and taskbullet.com, and of course, Swing Easy Hammocks. Thanks for listening. I'll see you soon, I hope. Thanks. Bye.